Fine, fine, fine. Finally, so good to have you here with me. I'm really excited. Thank you so much, ma. I'm so sorry
Thank you.
about the back and forth.
If reaching out to the world with your talent, passion, and brand through podcasts is your greatest desire, then the Anchor app is for you. It's easy to navigate and the series of interludes to make your program interesting and enticing makes all the difference for me. So, experience a good published podcast with Anchor.
So can we, before we meet you, let me quickly introduce you to our audience. Finally, I have mommy here, Mrs. Josephine Olunaike. She is married and she's from Edo State by birth, and she's married to an Ogun State man with 3 children. Glory to God. She's a zoologist by schooling, branched to administrative line, and then by hobby, she's an entrepreneur. She's a sickle cell advocate and the founder of Beulah Sickle Cell Foundation, doing the big stuffs in Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. She's a sickle cell advocate, and she once worked in the private sector. She worked there for 18 years, presently doing her own farming and running the NGO Beulah Sickle Cell Foundation. She's 48 years, and she's going to 24 years in marriage. Wow, that's big. And over 21 years as a mother and as a sickle cell warrior. It's so good to meet you, ma.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on your platform.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. I'm so sorry for the back and forth too.
Yes. No problem, ma. Okay, so let's get into it, ma. Can we meet you officially now on the platform of Victor and Not Victim? Can we meet you?
Good afternoon. Like you said, my name is Josephine Olunaike. I'm a sickle cell warrior and advocate.
Okay.
And I run the Beulah Sickle Cell Foundation in Abuja.
Okay.
And then I have warriors in Abuja and other states of the Federation, to the glory of God.
Glory to God.
Yeah. I'm a mother, I'm a wife and a mother, to the glory of God.
Wow, that's good. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful.
In short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to know, can you share your sickle cell journey with us from the very start, ma? At what age did you? I mean, I know it's been years now. At what age point did you get to know that you are a sickle cell warrior and that you have sickle cell disorder? And what has the journey been like for you, in summary?
Well, I'd known as a child, maybe 5 years old, but I really didn't know what it meant, It's like you just say it and sing it. Okay, why am I always sick? You are SS. So, but not that, even my parents didn't really know much about it.
Okay.
And then I'm a carefree person from onset, so I didn't really, all I know was that my school was not constant. Okay. And then from all my siblings, I had to attend school close to the house, you know. But not that I had the knowledge of this is what it really means. All I just knew then was that I was always falling sick, at least among most of my other siblings. Although my mom had 4 of us that are warriors.
Wow.
Past 6 too. Yeah.
Wow.
4 of us are warriors. So we were always in and out of hospital, but we didn't really understand what it was as we now know. The thing we there are those people that won't live long and don't live long. And practically we were seeing it like that. Most of the people I know, it was that story. They don't live long. So it was what we were agreed. The only thing we know is that, they don't live long. And then that's practically what we knew about it then.
So how was schooling? What was schooling like for you? Were there periods you were out of school and then you were not able to cope with studies because of sickle cell, or were there periods like that?
Oh, definitely. You know, so many times we had to be out of school. Then, sometimes we are even going 1 hour to closing time, just because I feel I was just in school. Then sometimes the whole week, a whole term, even in the university, I had to miss a whole semester. So for every time, the number of years I spent was more than what others spent. Because of in and out. But because even my other students too didn't know the meaning of sickle cell, so there was really no stigmatization per se, other than we don't come regularly to school, they are always sick. But it was a rough journey, very rough, more because so many beliefs that were not true, so many things. It was more like do deliverance. Then sometimes we got some people that came with these palm fronds to beat the thing out of us.
Mommy, are you serious?
Because it was like it wasn't seen as a normal thing. Wow. So they said, these palm fronds, they would just gather it and then put coconuts down, and it was just the thing. But even after I said and done, the sickness still stayed.
Wow.
Then they will say, at the time they said, because I didn't go and do something in the village, that is why, even up till now, some of them still believe it in my hometown. That's why we are like we are. So,
Lord have mercy. Wow.
That was it. It was a rough journey, but God has been faithful. That's just the truth. So many perceptions that were almost not true, So you have to keep coping. And then as I was growing up and having understanding, I'm also true to what they were saying. My younger brother died at like 17. Then the other one, So it was more like true to what they were saying. And because we that had the sickle cell, we didn't even understand it. My mom was not that educated, so she would just treat as the sickness comes, but not that there was any information. And same with my dad. He was quite educated. He was a lawyer, but then no information about sickle cell. So we just kept going the day as it comes.
Wow. That's really something. 4 out of 6 children is a big deal, actually.
Yeah, 4.
The part of the palm front really made me laugh, because I also had a similar experience growing up. My home was incisions, so daddy couldn't stay to witness it, so he just instructed one man that said, he knows the answer to all of those sicknesses. How would she just do
exactly.
And so they came to do incision on almost every part of my body, my chest, my hands, every part of the bone. And maybe because I lost blood due to the incision, 3 days after, I was down with a very serious crisis, and the whole trend continued again.
Our parents couldn't refuse. They couldn't refuse, because it's like, these people look like people trying to come and help.
Yes.
So all of them, they'll tell you that's the way out. And they were looking for solutions too.
Yeah.
Because they too were tired. It's quite stressful.
Yeah.
Imagine for a family. Yeah. So they wanted the solution, and these were the solutions that we were getting around. Then sometimes they would there's a spirit world somewhere that my former husband was the one disturbing me, that I didn't say bye to him when I was coming to this new world.
Are you serious?
That's why I'm having so much trouble, and my sister with us.
That's so interesting, a story. That's good. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. but you are here now and you're doing big stuffs by the special grace of God. So I'm interested in your marriage journey, especially the point of marriage decisions. You know, there is still this thing out there that we're trusting God to help us clear. There is still this big stigmatization in the air, especially for sickle cell ladies. And I've experienced it, I'm still experiencing it, where you hear something like, no, you can't get married to her, especially the part of the mothers coming in. You can't get married to her because we can't be sure that she'll be able to carry pregnancy. And here you are as a testimony with 3 beautiful children. So how was it like at that point where you were trying to make a marriage decision? What was it like for your husband? And are you willing to share that with us, ma'am?
Yeah, definitely. Because one way or the other, in our errors, in the decisions we take, we are equally teaching ourselves lessons. The truth of it was that I never really had marriage in view for myself, because this is the story I've heard. They don't live long, and practically I was saying that they don't live long. So, but I like life, and I'm a very carefree person. You can't make me unhappy. And like I keep telling even my younger ones that are warriors too, I only have one remaining though. That even what I keep telling my husband, that I will not release my peace of mind to anybody to hold for me. As long as God keeps it, nobody will tamper with it. So I like myself and I like life. So having said that, when I was growing up, I didn't have marriage in mind because one, I felt nobody would want to marry a sickle cell person. Secondly, even if I live to the age to get married, then I'm dying maybe 2-3 years later. Would they give my children to other people to take care of? What would become of them? You know, I had that in mind. That was number 2. Number 3, I didn't want somebody that would give me undue pressure. You can't give birth, you are always sick. So I had planned myself, even when I was much younger, secondary school, going to university. But then I made sure to myself that it was not going to be a point of depression for me. I made up my mind that I was going to get married, but to an older person that has actually lost his wife, you know, and is not looking for children. Okay. Sincerely speaking, I like my peace of mind and I like my life. You know, I wanted somebody that is a widower and is not looking for children. Somebody that just wants a companion. I'd settled it with myself that animals be rich. You know, I can't lose on everyone. I can't, and that's what I kept telling people then. So even when I entered university, I wasn't looking for a young guy. I wasn't looking for a toaster. I was just enjoying myself.
Yourself.
I'm not a party type. I'm not a party type, but I can stay indoor by myself and 1-2 people and be enjoying myself. I'm not somebody that likes crowd. So I settled it in my mind. I wanted an older person, a widower that is not looking for children, just looking for companionship, and then we'll settle for that. But meanwhile, I'll be enjoying my life. So I met my husband in the university. In fact, I met him on my 100 level, but there was no relationship. It was just a friend I met, a toaster. And then I don't hide my sickle cell status.
Okay.
So when I met him, I told him. Surprisingly, he was still on the matter. In fact, when I had crisis, I thought it was that time he should pick praise. But he still stood by, and then. But for me, I've never been interested in all this younger guys' relationship. Even though I didn't have, the older man said does not come to chase. I didn't see anybody. So I was just on my own, but that was what I had mind on. And then at the point he came, you know, it was just a relationship that I was just enjoying, but marriage was never in my mind, even though it was on its own mind. And then when the issue of marriage came, ordinarily, sincerely speaking, most families don't want their son or daughter to bring a sickle cell person.
Sickle cell person.
Even if the person, because there's this thing like, will you be able to save? Is in a hospital you will be spending on? Will she be able to give birth? All the buts are there, and which was not the exception. It was not an exception to it. Even friends that were friends to both of us, they didn't see sense in him wanting. The friendship was okay. Hello. We started the relationship. It was a relationship that lasted 7 years.
Wow.
Because I was in school when it started, my first year, and then although we started my second year.
Okay.
And then some of his family people were very skeptical, but his elder brother is a medical doctor.
Okay.
And then they were quite educated in their family, and I think one way or the other, I don't know, God just did it. Sincerely speaking, the acceptance, it was not what they embraced, but he was determined. It was like, whether people want it or not, this is the person I want to marry. And that kind of sealed it. And then even from my own home, they made it clear that they were not begging anybody with their daughter. That's just the thing. There was no desperation of any sort. They made it very clear that they were not begging for me to be married. And sincerely speaking, I didn't see marriage as a big deal then. Sincerely speaking, I just knew that if I wanted a child, I would have a child by the grace of God. And then, but I don't like stress. So, but knowing that he understood me, being together for 7 years, we had known so many things about each other, that marriage just seems the normal step by the grace of God to walk in. And I thank God that since then, God has been in this journey.
Wow.
Speaking.
That's such a beautiful marriage journey. Thank you for sharing with us, Ma. Then Beulah, I'm interested in knowing Beulah Sickle Cell Foundation that is now taking the whole of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja now. At what point did you make a decision about Beulah, about starting an advocacy journey and then starting an initiative, Ma?
From university days, I've started taking care of warriors, even though I was a warrior too. But you always see me at health center with one warrior or the other. And you would think I came to school for that purpose. So then most times when I'm on admission, by the grace of God, I had parents that were supportive financially and love-wise. So it made a whole lot of difference for me. But I discovered that, especially and I use government hospital, I always see warriors that even to take bottled water seems like a major task. So sometimes I'm on the admission bed and I'll keep sharing from my things to people. And then even when I relocated to Abuja from Lagos, I started taking drips. Sometimes I buy 2 cartons to clean hospitals, government hospitals, buy injections, and I keep dropping. But this was basically with my husband, And after some time, the hospital were like, then I discovered that when I take these things to the hospital, sometimes they are not even used by the set of people I've taken them to. And I keep seeing some politics being played with those things. Yes, sometimes you've taken things and you are still collecting money from the warriors and giving them from the free things I brought.
That you brought.
So, and sometimes you can't make an open accusation and things like that. And that actually inspired the start of Beulah Sickle Cell Foundation. Like you must have known, I'm very, very bad with social media. So But what I actually wanted was a practical thing. Let me see them. Let me ask their problem. Let's talk.
Okay.
Which was what I started in Abuja. I actually started the foundation, and by the grace of God, I was able to get a place at the Federal Secretariat by the Federal Staff Hospital, and we got a space there because I had people that have seen what I've been doing in other hospitals. So they were able to just say, let me just start this. And then when I started, from the first day of the clinic, we were like 80 from day one.
Wow.
That's almost 2
That's
years
a large pool.
Yeah, because I'd had warriors in different places, because I visit homes, I visit shanties.
So they were just waiting for that structure.
Yes, even before the start.
Yeah.
I'd always gone to talk about it. I'd always taken things to places so that when it was starting, I was not new to most of them. So on our first clinic, we had over 80 warriors on ground.
Wow.
And then we were able to do free medication.
Wow.
Wheelchairs were given to about 5 people.
Wow. So
walkers were given, crutches were given. Everybody had their medication. And we started a monthly clinic like that. So every month, second Friday, warriors gather. The thing was this: sometimes somebody is hungry, you say, go and eat. They know they should eat. But the problem could be that they didn't have the food.
The food, yeah.
They say somebody is having crisis, go to hospital. Sometimes they know that's what they should do, but they don't actually have the means to go to that hospital or to pay, some of these things. So I said, well, if we can take care of routine medication and full blood counts, I think the rate of crisis will actually reduce for a lot of people. Then we'll be able to boost maintenance for a lot of warriors. That's how Beulah started. So we do a monthly clinic every second Friday. And from there, by the grace of God, we've been able to grow.
Wow. Thank you so much. That is such a very beautiful story.
So
Thank you.
From there, we've been able to grow, and we've been able to involve other things like free kidney test, free genotype testing, all these things that have come into place since inception.
Wow, so good. So good. Thank you, Ma. You said something to me and it really motivates me. You said something earlier about school when you were talking about your sickle cell journey, and you were like, the number of years you spend on certain things, the classes, the schools are usually more than the number of years. But this is what I picked from it. It still didn't stop you. You were forging ahead, you were moving, and which is the reason for this platform, to educate and to really, really encourage sickle cell warriors out there that irrespective of what medical science poses as a limitation, they can still be out of it and they can still be who they ought to be and who God wants them to be. So on that, can you just advise and give counsel to our sickle cell warriors out there that they're actually not a victim of the world? See what you have come to be, and considering all the challenges of the past and all of those things. So kindly share and encourage our sickle cell warriors, Ma.
Yeah, thank you, Fumi. For me, I will keep telling people that the presence of a problem does not mean the absence of God. For me, God is ultimate. Sincerely speaking, it's not a function of what I do, what I don't do.
Yeah.
First and foremost is God.
Yeah.
And for the fact that there's a problem, there's a disorder, there's an issue, does not mean God does not exist. And for me, everybody has a cross to carry. Some people are dealing with cancer, some are dealing with kidney failure. Everybody has a cross to carry. And the fact remains that you define yourself. I will not allow you to tell me I can't do, or I won't do, I can't achieve. It only happens if I tell myself I can't do it. So I'm the first person that can actually limit myself. So for every warrior out there, the presence of this disorder does not mean the absence of God. so many things I heard even after I got married, My first pregnancy was like a war zone. But by the grace of God, I came out through, and 3 children. There's no CS. They were all natural and normal birth.
Are you serious? That's so encouraging.
Sincerely speaking, I don't limit God in anything. When somebody says something is not possible, all I need to do is search my scripture and see if actually God hasn't done greater things. And it has worked for me over and over again.
Wow.
Sickle cell should not limit anybody. There are challenges, fine, but learn to. And then the most important thing for warriors again, you see, ask for help when you need it. Don't die in silence.
Yeah.
I don't keep quiet when I need help. Don't die in silence. Join a foundation, join anywhere you can get help, and get help. That's just the thing. There's no self-sufficient person on earth. We all need each other. So draw help, draw support from friends, from family that can give you. Then move away from negative people. Sincerely speaking, you can't tell me I will die because I have sickle cell. You just won't last around me. So move away from negative people and disagree within yourself that sickle cell is not a death sentence. And then, it's just everybody, even if I don't have sickle cell, it could have been cancer, it could have been kidney.
It could have been
but
any
the fact
other
remains
thing.
that it does not limit God.
Yes.
And I won't limit myself. We must just try. Some things are worse than sickle cell, but they live above it. If somebody without leg and hands can use mouth to paint, I mean, we can do something, sincerely speaking.
Wow.
We just need to support each other to move out of it. That's just it.
So beautiful. I really love this. Thank you so much, Mommy. The presence of a problem does not mean the absence of God, and you really have to divine yourself, not because of sickle cell. Yourself should not divine you anyway. And when you need help, ask for help. Thank you so much. I enjoyed the section. I enjoyed chatting with you, Ma. Thank you for sharing your journey, your experience, your work, and everything you do with us. We are really excited to host you. Thank you, Ma. So I think that's a wrap, and that will be the end of it. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you, Sister Funmi, for having me. Once again, sorry for the troubles you have to go to get this done. I'm so sorry.
No problem, Ma. Thank you. The point is finally done. Thank you, Ma. All right, Ma.
Thank you. Bye.
You have a beautiful day, Ma. Yes, Ma.
You too, darling. Bye.